Happy Halloween, everyone. Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. You are tuned into another Breeders' Cup podcast. Today, diving into the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare turf. In this episode, we will be exploring the contenders, trying to uncover any hidden gems. But before we get there, let me remind you, I have a whole collection of Breeders' Cup videos covering all the classic contenders and races, including races such as this one, the Breeders' Cup Turf, Turf Mile, Sprint, Distaff, and etc. That's not all. I also create content for Daily Fantasy Sports, aka DFS enthusiasts, focusing on sports like PGA and NFL. I have a PGA video coming out for this week's Worldwide Technologies Championship in Cabos, Mexico, brand new golf course. Be sure to check that out, dropping today. So with the pre-entries out, we've got clarity, obviously, where the most of the contenders are going. So I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment and tell me what about horse racing makes you scream. Okay, Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, exhilarating contest. 2 turns on the turf going 1 mile and 3/8 for $2 million. But what makes the race really great is the global spectacle that it comes in. Fierce competition brought in by the international contenders. Half of the champions in the Filly Mare Turf have shipped over from the distant shores. So we keep a close watch on these competitors as we narrow our field down. We will start with Inglis Spiral, 4-year-old racehorse hailing from the UK. Made an indelible mark in the world of British horse racing, trained by the esteemed father-son partnership, John and Thaddy Gosden. She made her debut June 21, Newmarket, showcasing exceptional talent, overcoming a rough start to secure victory there. That was just the beginning. She went on to claim multiple graded stakes wins, such as the Star Stakes and the prestigious Filly Mile at Newmarket, and that was an undefeated 2-year-old season for her. So just at the tender to soft, but the heavier ground, the softer ground, she doesn't like. So that kind of tells me that she's going to be fine with Santa Anita, because that turf is a little on the firmer side, going out west, as opposed to places like Keeneland and maybe further up north this time of year, which will be wetter and softer. So she's in a tier by herself, I think. Number 1 overall rated. Chad Brown's multiple grade 1 winner in Italian. She was on track for a big 3-year-old campaign in 2021, but caught pneumonia over the summer, went to the sidelines. 4-year-old season was just stellar. 4 wins and was not off the board in 7 starts. Her 5-year-old season, sensational. Pair of grade 1 scores in the Jenny Wiley at Keeneland and the Just a Game at Belmont. Before the layoff, she led down the stretch in the grade 1 Diana, which she was going for a repeat in, only to be caught by stablemates White Beam and Gina Romantica. Gina is in the race. We'll get to her in a second. She actually had shown a declining form in her Brisnet speed ratings before the break. So we fast forward to October 2nd or 7th, and her front running style set a pretty fast pace in the First Lady Stakes at Keeneland. But she was corralled once again down the stretch by Gina Romantica. So I think she will like the firmer turf as well. I think Keeneland's turf this time of year is a hair bit on the soft side. So anyway, I learned never to doubt Chad Brown with any horse he brings to the grass. And I think she got a 109 speed rating, which was just a tick less than Gina Romantica's winning 110 in that same race. So 109 for that effort. If she improves off of that, she's going to be right there. So on to Gina Romantica. Her path to greatness was anything but straightforward. Unraced at 2. She did break her maiden first out with a 6-furlong sprint victory at the main track on Tampa Bay. So they started her out on dirt. She had a few ups and downs, couple wins, couple of blown outings. So the turning point came when Chad Brown decided to extend her distance to 1 mile and introduce her to the Saratoga turf in the risk averse stakes. It was there everything fell into place. She rounded off her 3-year-old season in October with a stunning victory in the QE2 Challenge Cup at Keeneland, which we just watched. And she also outpaced her stablemate, Mulik, and in that mile and an eighth turf challenge, laid off until June the following year. Gina Romantica fine-tuned the skills with a fourth place finish, Eaton Town Stakes at Monmouth. So Chad Brown set his sights on the Beverly D at Colonial. That was a fine effort, but she was clearly no match for our next contestant in the Philly Mare Turf, Fev Rover. But she should be peaking at the right time to give trainer Chad Brown a chance to get win number 5 in the Philly Mare Turf. So he's no stranger to the winner's circle there. It's been a couple of years for Chad in this particular race, though. So now, Fev Rover. Fev Rover is trainer Mark Cassie's solo shot going in this race. And we just watched that huge stretch run where she put Gina Romantica away quite easily to win that Beverly D. And so it took the European import a little bit to understand North American racing. According to trainer Mark Cassie, Fev Rover ran her first 10 races in Europe at 2 and 3 years old. She won a couple of stakes races, but she made her first start, I guess if you want to call it coming overseas, but it was at Woodbine, technically Canada, running second in the Dance Smartly. Then she won the Canadian Stakes and a third place in the EP Taylor Stakes, all at Woodbine. But she did obtain victory at Colonial Downs, which is more of an indicator that she might like the turf a little more firm and has a good shot to mow them down once again coming up this weekend. So anyway, Chad Brown's horse training career began under the guidance of legendary Bobby Frankel. When he embarked on his own stable, he envisioned training a horse. His one and only employee was Mare McCulloch. And so he envisioned training a horse that might be a star and naming it after her, his first and only employee at the time. Well, they got that opportunity when the first offspring of the renowned Sire Frankel came along, and they named her after the trainer. So this is McCulloch. She made her debut at Saratoga August 2021, won first out. While it took her 4 more attempts and 11 months to get back to the winner's circle, she did so in spectacular fashion. The star of the 2021 New York Phillies Triple Turf Series. She won the Belmont Oaks and the Jockey Club Oaks. Those 2 victories bookended a strong second place in that middle one of the Saratoga Oaks. That was in August of last year, 2022. 7-month break. She returned in May. 5th place finish in the Modesty Stakes at Churchill. Showed an incredible burst of speed late in the Glens Falls Stakes, blowing right by the super heavy favorite Warlike Goddess, showing that she can battle the elements in this next race, which was, I believe, the most recent Waya Stakes at the Belmont Big A. And it looks like some pretty driving rain. The weather, rainy turf was yielding. And so I think for her to be able to close like that on a maybe somewhat compromising track, that's another bullet in the turf revolver of Chad Brown. Next on to Warm Heart. Took her 3 tries to graduate from maiden ranks, but she's proved worth the wait. Trainer Aidan O'Brien is an absolute force in the world of turf racing and always ships in the top contenders for Breeders' Cup. although he only had last year's winner Tuesday in this particular race, the man's got multiple Breeders' Cup Turf victories on his resume, well into the double digits. So anyway, Warm Heart makes her first start November 4th, 2022 at Dundalk and finished fourth in her only start as a 2-year-old. 3-year-old debut at Leopardstown on April 2nd, solid runner-up effort. 1 month later, she comes back to Leopardstown and trip to the winner's circle, broke her maiden. So she kept that momentum going, 3 straight wins, 5 of last 6 entering this week. So she is hot. So be on the lookout for that one as kind of a sleeper. Warm Heart, I guess maybe not so much a sleeper, but it's probably like the 3rd, 4th, 5th choice, somewhere in that range. Anyway, following an impressive undefeated streak during her juvenile campaign, Lindy is our next horse. She made her sophomore season debut in April, transitioned to the Graded Stakes Arena. April and May, runner-up in back-to-back races. Faced off against French filly Star in Blue Rose Seine. Lindy's journey took an exciting turn as she was privately sold over to Everest Racing and given over to American-based trainer Brendan Walsh, who she's with now. Debut on American soil, Lindy faced high expectations as the 1-5 favorite in an allowance race at Kentucky Downs. Turf was rated as good. She did not disappoint. Big win there. Encore performance was equally impressive. Finished second in the Keeneland's Queen Elizabeth II on October 14th. She was closing fast on the winner Maj, as we can see in this 1.125 tester. Worth noting that effort was strictly versus 3-year-olds. So she's going to need a significant class jump to compete with the older horses in this race. Now, there are several other horses that may land in that 12 to 25 to 1 range that could round out some exotics. I like Charlie Appleby's With the Moonlight, who ran runner-up to both In Italian and Fev Rover while racing over on the American turf. Then you have Didia. That's going to be a significant class test for her. Trainer Ignacio Corrales. And then you got Joseph O'Brien with Lumineer Rock. I guess third last out in the Longchamp. Produced 3 of the last 6 winners for the filly and mare turf, so that's worth noting. Then you have Moria. I believe that's Ontario bred horse. Was an early star in Canada, but just 1 for 7 versus older. Got dusted by Fev Rover. So I'm not Kevin Attard trainer, solid trainer in his own right. But that'll round out the field. So if you're looking at a top 10, it's going to be a tough call, but I almost went in the order of it. I mean, I could rattle them off. It's going to be in Spiral. It's going to be Fev Rover. It's going to be Gina Romantica. It's going to be In Italian, things of that nature. So be on the lookout for those horses. And then once the past performances come out later on this week, I'm going to dig in deeper and maybe come with a more condensed video with just betting strategies for some of these races. So until then, tell a friend. And next video, we will see you soon. Thank you for watching.